He's been a rock star for 20 years and counting, and his new DVD is The Left Feels Right, Jon Bon Jovi. Hey, John.
Hi, Dennis. How you doing, pal?
Good. Thanks for coming on. Hey, before we get started, we have to do a little promo work here. I don't know anybody who owns a sports team. Tell me a little bit about the Soul.
Well, it's a tough business to get into. It has nothing to do with anything I've known before. But I'm a football freak.
It's an Arena Football League team,
it's
right?
It's an Arena Football League team, that's correct. But this week I would go into mourning. And the idea that the AFL is 16 more weeks of football, it made a lot of sense to me. And the city of Philadelphia really embraced it.
Right. Well, good luck this weekend against the New Orleans Voodoo, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's a team owned by Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints down there in New Orleans. And it's our first game. We're looking forward to it. Sue's crazy about it.
Good. Listen, John, now, it's hard to believe you're getting older. You're owning a football team now. Also, we're parents. I was watching the Janet Jackson thing this weekend, and I remember thinking, you know, the breast is like the least of it. That does seem reasonably innocuous to me. It seemed like it was a pretty violent little number, though. Did you pick up on that as a parent?
Yeah, I did. I have to tell you that I did. The facial expressions alone were well worth the price of admission. I was rolling my eyes. And what happened with my 10-year-old daughter is we were having dinner conversation Monday, and she said, well, when you walked away from the TV and said, well, that was awful, I thought you meant it, but you meant the performance. And I says, you know, honey, I looked at the TV, I blinked, I missed the little tidbit there. But she didn't, and nor did her friends, who were all whispering about it. My 8-year-old son was chuckling. But I missed that part of it. The whole performance, everybody involved in it, with the bad lip syncing, and you know, I don't want to sound prudish. I mean, I'm the most liberal left guy you want to meet, but it was just awful. It was awful.
Well, you know, there's liberal left, then there's just being a parent. And I noticed that people's politics tend to dial in and get a little more pragmatic when they're talking about their kids. I think what your daughter said is an interesting comment. I think kids in the culture today almost notice things like the breast. That's the titillation, literally and figuratively. Right. But they almost don't notice the fact, and that's the disturbing part to me, that everything leading up to that is kind of, you know, man oppressing women sort of thing. That stuff settles in kids in a lower level, doesn't it?
I would think it very well may. And then it depends on the individual parents to help educate your kids and empower women and give the girls the faith in their own strength. And but I pity the fool that thinks he's going to have that kind of hand with my daughter.
She might be bringing eventually one of the team home that plays for you, John.
Well, you know, I used to fear the day that a boy would try to date my daughter, and now I dare him to get out the gate without her kicking him out of the car.
We're talking about the Janet Jackson thing, and I noticed that the guy on the left, who seems to have been summarily drummed out of the campaign, but did feel that Hollywood played some role in this, was Joe Lieberman. What did you think of Lieberman, or who do you like over there this time through, John?
Well, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still feeling them all out. I'm hoping that we have something, and I don't want to get into politics with you here, but you know, I think I like what the general has had to say. I like what John Edwards is spreading in optimism. And I don't know enough about John Kerry yet. But it's a shame that, you know, we need to put a face on this for the party.
Well, we don't have to talk about politics, but what are you looking for this country right now? John, as a parent, we're talking about parenting. I think that tends to focus your priorities. What do you think the country needs right now? And I happen to think that one of the things it needs is to be defended in a dangerous world.
Certainly. I will not defend anything that this president has done, and the weapons of mass destruction or you know, Colin Powell. You know how I would campaign, Dennis? I would show all the little clips of all the little white lies and then cut back to me and I'd go, huh? Cut away again to Colin Powell sitting at the UN shaking the vial, and I'd cut back to me and say, huh? You know, that's what I'd be doing. You know, if this country is listening to a lot of sound bites, and unfortunately aren't really listening. And going to Iraq was wonderful for our troops, who I absolutely support and I have all the respect for. But a photo op with a turkey that wasn't even cooked and then leaving again, sorry. You know, I mean, I campaigned hard for Al Gore, and I still believe the world would have been a different place right now.
Yeah, what do you think Gore would have done? Do you think Gore would have just solicited the United Nations?
I think he very well might have, and we wouldn't have had such a unilateral approach to invading a country there that obviously there were no weapons of mass destruction in.
Now, John, what's the future hold for you as far as beyond the ownership in that? How long can one be a rock star nowadays? I know Jagger's pushing it out there. I saw him doing Start Me Up the other night in a walker, quite frankly, I think somewhere. But what's the outside limit that you would start to feel maybe it was time?
You know, as long as you're feeling like you're contributing and we were staying current and not selling out, never becoming a nostalgia band, if you will, as long as we had current records that were successful and we were playing the kinds of places we're accustomed to playing, I'll continue to do it. I don't think I'll tour as much as I did when I was 25, but I'm finding movies, I'm finding football ownership, I'm finding parenthood to be so fulfilling for me that I don't really need to spend 240 days a year on the road. But I'll continue to make records. I mean, for me, my idol, Sinatra. He toured till he was 80, he made 60 movies, he got a president elected. He's okay by me.
Now, one last thing. Is Richie a co-owner of this team?
Richie has a very small part ownership in the team, yeah, just a little token gesture, but he said, anything you get in, I want to get in too, because he knows that I'd go full-fledged at this thing, and it's a lot of fun for both of us.
I think Richie just wants to get Heather into one of the cheerleader outfits.
So do I.
All right, Johnny, good luck with it. Go Soul.
Good luck for the show, pal. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. We'll be right back with our Varsity Path.